welcome back to the lab. Lee here. Y'all saw that title too as well. We are talking about 8 new Mandela effects to blow your mind, make you question this reality we live in. That is right, 8 new more Mandela effects to get your week going, just to put a little shake into you. How about that? But before we do get this going, y'all remember that some of these Mandela effects might not be new to you. They will be new to somebody else, so please respect that. As well as if you like this at any time, please remember to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, every little count. Let's mess with the algorithm. Let's get to 3Gs, as well as leave those comments down below about these Mandela effects and ones you would love to discuss on this channel too as well. Now, with the Mandela effects and every Mandela effects that we do, I've done, and everybody's done in this world, it is slowing down in a tad bit. You know, I've done a lot of Mandela effect videos, and I've done a lot of Mandela effects, and new ones are slowing down. But that's okay, because we're going to start jumping into why the Mandela effect is happening, what's going on in a sense. But that's not the video today. So let's get this going. We're going to start off with the first one of the day, and we're going to be talking about whiteout. That is right up. That good old ink, that charcoal ink or paste or whatever you can do to fix your mistakes on your math test, or fix your mistakes in your spelling, your essays and stuff like that. I know that sounds kind of out of pocket now because nobody writes much anymore, but we're talking about whiteout and the spelling of whiteout. As I put this on the screen here for you right there, which one is the correct spelling of whiteout? That is right. Look at it carefully. Now, if you are saying the one that is spelt out white with the WH, well, you are completely wrong. Oh, so wrong. It's so wrong. So sad, because in my reality, I remember it being spelt that way with the H in it. But in this reality, whiteout has never ever been spelt that way. It has always been spelt W-I-T-E, white. Blows me away. It rattles my bones. It almost makes me want to white out everything I've learned my entire life. But that is exactly how it is. But how do you remember whiteout being spelt? Do you always remember whiteout being spelt the way you see it right there, the W-I-T-E? Or are you like me and many others out there remember it being spelt white, like white is supposed to be spelt like?
Slave in the magic mirror, come from the far.
That is right. We are going back to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. We've talked about hi-ho, off the work we go, and now it's home to go. We've talked about mirror, mirror, now it's magic mirror. But this one's brought to my little attention because as I was doing the little mirror, mirror one on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? And it was brought to my attention that the way I said it is not the way it is said in the movie. And I said, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Well, listen to this.
Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?
That is right. You heard her say, magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of all? Now, you heard how I originally said it. Who was the fairest one of them all? And now it is of all. But who remembers it that way? Because it's weird, because I remember it the way I exactly said it. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of them all? But it is, who's the fairest one of all? It's a little weird, but how do you remember that verse? Is it the way it is and always has been, the fairest one of all? Or has it been like I had said and said here, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of them all? Let me know down below. Yeah! That is right, we're talking about Karate Kid, that is correct. And we're not talking about his bandana, his head, he's got, because y'all know that it used to be red, but now it's like black and then blue. Now it's got all these dots on it. I don't even want to talk about how they just destroyed that. But we're talking about the scene where he's already got the bum leg. Coach tells him, sweep the leg. And he goes around and he sweeps the leg, and you hear in the background, put him in a body bag, Johnny! Yeah! Well, listen to this.
What?
Get him a body bag! Yeah!
Alright, feet, go on.
Get him a body bag! Yeah!
Alright, feet.
Get him a body bag, yeah! Get him a body bag. Now, if you look this up on YouTube and you put him in a bag, you will see the titles of those things is put them in a body bag, put them in a bag, put them in a body bag. That's exactly how I remember this. That's Johnny, put him in a body bag, yeah! And that's how I remember it. Never get him a body bag. That just sounds just weird. It doesn't sound right to me for some reason, because a lot of us remember this thing being, put him in a body bag, Johnny, yeah! But how do you remember it? Has it always been the way it is now? Get him a body bag. Or are you like me and many of us who learned from Mr. Miyagi himself? Put him in a body bag, Johnny. Yeah! Oh, this one is for all my wrestling fans out there. If you were a WWF, WWE, ECW, WCW, regardless, this is for you wrestling fans out there. Yeah! And I'm talking about the moment there was this part in WWF history. I'm a WWF fan. I know it's WWE. But there's a part when his infamous Mr. Shawn Michaels himself had a tag team partner, and Shawn Michaels was about to go on his own way, stuff like that. And he was having an interview with this guy. And, well, here, take a look.
One without the other isn't any good. Oh, I knew he was going to do that. I just knew he was going to do that. He don't need Jannetty. I told you that off and on. Are you kidding? What a despicable act that was. No! Oh, my God.
There, as you saw, the two connections of the Heartbreak connection and his former partner, and you see Shawn Michaels throw him through the window. That's what you see. You saw throw him through the window. And that's exactly how it always has been. But in my reality, and millions of wrestling fans around the world remember Shawn Michaels giving him the sweet chin music. Yeah, everybody knows that great move, the sweet chin music. Bow! Right through the window. That's exactly how I remembered that. Because I woke up every Saturday morning, had this little ottoman that you could fold up and sit chair, and you fold up and pull into an ottoman. And I would sit there and watch wrestling as I'm wrestling with my big old Pink Panther stuffed animal. I'm wrestling. And I remember that. I remember the sweet chin music right through the window. But how do you remember Shawn Michaels breaking up with his partner? Do you always remember it the way it is now, the way you see him throwing him through the window? Or do you, like me and like the millions of wrestling fans around the world, remember the sweet, sweet chin music? I am stepping in to break this little part up real quick, and I'm going to be talking about the Bible and why the Bible is changing. Now, we've known all the changes in the Bible, from now it's a jealous God to from now the wolf lays with the lamb, from the Lord's Prayer. The list goes on. And also with that, we've had this phrase, of you probably heard it from, your church-going families or your older generation, how that, you spoil your child, spare the rod, either way you want to throw it. But that was never in the Bible neither. That was never written in the Bible. But the reason why I believe the Bible is changing, the Mandela Effect is messing with the Bible, is because I believe the Mandela Effect is messing with things that are not exactly right and true to itself. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? It has to be, Mandela Effects have changed music. Anything that's been written, rewritten, shown in a different light, fake to realness, has been messed with. I mean, even life and stuff like that. But with the Bible, with it saying it's a jealous God, saying that, the wolf lays with the lamb, I believe that one is changing to tell you the truth of that the book is not fully right. It's not fully true. And that's where it leads. It leads on to that. And I think if we could actually start from right there to the facts of that, the book that millions and millions and millions of people realize that if this book can be changed, it's being changed because it's not true to the essence, if that makes sense to you. And I believe starting from that book and going forward, outwards, into all the other Mandela effects, believe we could get an answer. I mean, Eugene Green, he used to do a lot of Mandela effects, telling about the stories, and he used to put religion within it. And I really do believe he is right on that part to put that and add them that way. But what do you think about that? Because it is one of those things that a lot of people won't want to talk about, just because you don't want to ruin something that they believe in so truly. But then on the other hand, like myself, I've now passed that book. I'm on to another bigger, better thing. And it is so evident to me that that's what's really going on.
A few moments later.
Next, we are going to be talking about the most iconic symbol that represents one thing. And we're talking about the peace sign. That is correct, the peace sign. Everybody has noticed and seen, drawn, scripted the peace sign. I mean, if you didn't know what the peace sign was in any language, if you saw that sign, you know exactly that meant peace. Well, the Mandela Effect has a couple things on this one. First one on the Mandela Effect with the peace sign is that some people remember the peace sign being upside down. That is right, you know, upside down, the arrows going up way, kind of upwards. Some people remember it without the line going all the way through the V, if you want to put it that way. And I sit here and I'm trying to think about this, and I'm going to go back to the upside down peace sign. I don't ever remember it being upside down. I don't ever remember seeing an upside down peace sign. That would look odd to me for some reason. But I never remember it that way. My reality has always been the way it is, right side up, the way it's supposed to be. I've always recognized that way. Now the second part of it, where the line goes all the way down, some people say that the line doesn't go all the way down. It just stops and it spreads out, kind of like the Mercedes symbol. And I've seen it that way before. And to me, it's probably another way, a description of a peace sign. But in my reality, it has always been the peace sign you see right here, right side up. That's how I remember it. But what is your memory about the peace sign? How do you remember it? Let me know down below. We're going back to the Karate Kid. And we're not going back to Karate Kid itself. We're going to how many movies of Karate Kids are there? How many movies of Karate Kids are there? Now, as you're saying this to yourself, and I know some people might leave, this isn't a Mandela Effect, but it was brought up into one of my comments, and a lot of people kind of were questioning back and forth of how many movies or Karate Kid movies there were. Now, some people were saying there was only 4. Some people were saying there's only 3. Well, in my reality, there's 5. There's 5 Karate Kids. That is right. You had 3 with Ralph. You had the 4th Karate Kid with Hilary Swank. And then you had the 5th Karate Kid with Jada Pinkett. Yep. 5 Karate Kids. A lot of people don't remember Hilary Swank being in Karate Kid. And that's kind of weird for me, because I remember saying, oh, there's a girl in Karate Kid now. I remember that, you know. And that's where I think people are forgetting how many Karate Kids there are, because there was that Karate Kid. There was a Hilary Swank Karate Kid. It was the 4th one. And it blows my mind that a lot of people don't remember that. But like I said, it could be a Mandela Effect. It could not be a Mandela Effect. But I can't question people's memories and their realities, because we all live in a different reality at the same time these days. But what do you remember? How do you remember? And how many movies do you remember of Karate Kid? Was there only 4? Was there only 3? Or was there 5, like there are now in this reality?
If you like the groove, come on, techno, and just bust a move, huh?
This one creeps me out a little bit. And I'm talking about Carl Winslow. Who's Carl Winslow, Lee? Well, you saw a little bit of that, but Carl Winslow from Family Matters. Or you can go from the cop from Die Hard. But I'm talking about Carl Winslow. His real name, it just in my head is Carl Winslow. And now you do see him on the Progressive commercials being basically the TV dad of the house. Well, in my reality, Mr. Carlo Winslow himself passed away about 5-6 years ago. I really think that's odd, and there's a lot of people remembering that too. Like, didn't Carlo Winslow, Family Matters' dad, pass away like 5-6 years ago? And I'm like, yeah, he did, didn't he? But then yet you see all these commercials, him on Progressive, being the TV dad, alive and well. Blows me away. Because like I said, I remember Carlo Winslow passing away, 5-6 years ago. So for some reason, I remember that. But it blows my mind to see him alive in color right now in front of everybody's faces doing his freaking TV dad commercials. And it blows me away. And I'm not the only one, because there are many out there that remember the same thing. So I'm asking you, do you always remember Carl Winslow being around, never dying in this reality? Or do you remember Mr. Carl Winslow passing away? Oh, I love it. I love it. 8 new Mandela effects there for you. I love the Mandela effect. If it would end today, I think I would die a happy man. No, I wouldn't, because I don't want the Mandela effect, and I love Mandela effects. I believe this is one of the easiest ways for people to wake up in this reality, to understand that everything that they learned, everything they were taught, brought up with, school-wise, word-wise, is all a lie. It's not true. History has been rewritten, rewrote, whatever you call it. And that's why the Mandela effect and this phenomenon is so important to these generations, our generations, this society today itself in this present time, because it shows you the truth. It shows you that nothing's right in this world anymore. Not the world I grew up in, and not the world you grew up in. Like I said before, if you enjoyed any of these Mandela effects at any time, please remember to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, leave those comments down below about these and the ones you would love to talk about. And also, with that said, man, keep your mind open, because those eyes will see everything in front of you. Y'all stay crazy.
Something we never thought we could have.
And what is that?
Another chance.
I think I heard a shot. I think I heard a shot. I think I heard a shot!